Have you ever heard a political argument, madam? Or are you so filled with prejudice you're not prepared to listen to anybody else?
I keep repeatedly telling you that we pick up more votes from across the spectrum than we do just from the Conservative Party. That's a fact. It's very well documented, and yet nobody inside the London metropolitan media mindset wants to accept it. We seem to think that believing Britain should govern itself and have a trade relationship with Europe and not be part of political union, we seem to believe that is somehow right-wing. Remember, it was the Labour Party. It was the left of the Labour Party in the 70s and the 80s, even Neil Kinnock at one time, who believed in that view.
Your calls to Nigel Farage in just a moment. One last question. You say that all our senior three politicians all get on, Nigel, but I don't know if you're aware that a very close aide to David Cameron in the aftermath of that vote branded Ed Miliband an effing C word and a copper-bottomed S. Do you think he was onto something there?
Well, in the heat of parliamentary debate, these things do happen.
What's your take on Mr Miliband, then?
He clearly doesn't really have a thought of his own at all. And on the Monday of last week, he was all for supporting limited military action. Then he realised that the country didn't want it and that many of his own backbenchers didn't want it, and they'd been dragooned into supporting the Iraq war. And so he changed his mind and went for this sort of equivocal halfway house. And that's the Miliband problem. You know, who is Ed Miliband and what is the Labour Party? Is it a party that stands up still for working class interests? I don't think so. It appears to be a party run by a very narrow metropolitan elite. Right, okay.
So this is the modern Labour Party and their defence of free speech. I can tell you firstly that Unite Against Fascism is funded by the trade union movement, who also fund the Labour Party, and it has on its board of deputies a whole list of Labour MPs and Labour MEPs. I want Ed Miliband to see these pictures tonight. Is this the face of the modern Labour Party in this country? Is this what democracy is all about? But actually what you're seeing tonight are people in the Labour Party and some to the left of the Labour Party who actually realise that our basic message, which is that we are unashamedly a patriotic party, that we believe in standing up for the rights of individual men and women and their families in this country, that we hold no prejudice against anybody, regardless of where they come from in the world, but that we absolutely insist that the time has come to end irresponsible, open-door immigration, something we have never had. Something we have never had in the history of these islands. And the basic UKIP message is this: that the European Union, the cost of it all, the regulation, what it's done to jobs, and what open-door immigration has done to the job prospects of young working class people in this country, we are the party now standing up for good, ordinary Britons, millions of them from traditional Labour voting families, and they are now coming to UKIP in huge numbers too. That's why you've seen the protest tonight.